Look out ahead of you, look for any ways to escape, any access out, any tree branches hanging over. Yell for help and stay calm. That's the number one thing, is stay calm. But the biggest part is understand that what's important is being safe.
The more water is in the river, the more risk there is, the more hazard there is for somebody that's swimming. The harder it's going to be to move around, the more easily you could get knocked over, slip and fall into the river, and generally speaking, the colder the water is going to be as well.
The parking lots here at the Yuba River are very limited. And obviously we don't have room for tons of people here often, so people have to park on the side of the highway. And the highway here is an active state highway. It's a vital artery to people in 3 different counties. When we have medical emergencies or any other kind of emergencies in this area, access is always key. And it's always very difficult to get in these areas with fire apparatuses and equipment. So to have that ability to maneuver and to park and to get to somebody in need quickly is very important. Financial cost for parking citations in the hundreds of dollars, especially for these areas. The county has enhanced some of the fines for specific parking zones in this area, so it is very expensive. And it goes basically on your vehicle registration. So if you don't end up paying that parking citation, it's going to end up haunting you later on when you pay your fees with DMV.
So on the weekends, expect long lines, not a lot of parking, a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic on the roads. Be very cautious when you're driving down towards the river. And I think the biggest thing is just to be patient. Understand that it's going to take time to actually park safely, walk down to the river and enjoy. So patience is something you have to bring. What people should not bring to the river is alcohol, a barbecue, anything that has an open flame, any type of glass containers. That glass container that you're carrying could very easily shatter on the rocks, and it becomes a hazard for not only you, but other people at the river.
If you're coming to the river, that's wonderful, enjoy it, it's an incredibly magical place, but take all of the trash that you brought with you, everything that you brought, bring that back out with you. Odds are you're gonna see some bottles or a can or something like that. Take that with you, and please, please, please pick up after your pets. In addition to kind of picking up trash because of aesthetic reasons, we're also really worried about trash, the plastics and things like that, and also the dog waste for the health of the environment. Because if you don't, it's just gonna end up in the river, and it's bad for human health. It's bad for the health of the environment as well.
Sign up for Nevada County Alerts today. Be ready, Nevada County. We're all in this together.
El Condado de Nevada ha lanzado un nuevo sistema voluntario de alertas de emergencia, Nevada County Alerts. Nevada County Alerts envía información crítica durante emergencias. No se han realizado cambios en las zonas de evacuación. Puede registrarse visitando readynevadacounty.org/emergency alerts. Si necesita ayuda, comuníquese con
All right, thank you. Loriana, corrections, deletions to the agenda this morning?
Yes, Chair. We have a deletion. We're going to be removing item 40, and it will be moved to an upcoming meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, our first item is the consent calendar. These items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. The Board of Supervisors will act upon them at one time without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar for discussion. Members of the public wishing to ask a question or hear discussion on items listed under the consent agenda can raise them when we open public comment on consent. So is there anybody who wanted to remove anything or comment on the consent calendar?
One recusal, item 3. I own property that's leased to Bright Future, so I recuse myself from item 3.
Okay. All right, anybody else? All right. So at this time, I will open public comment on the consent. If you want to call in, now's the time to dial up. Is there any public comment on the consent? No? Any phone calls, Loriana?
No callers, Chair.
Okay, then I'll close public comment and ask for a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Okay, roll call?
District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right, and I believe our HHSA director would like to make an introduction.
Chair Swarthout, members of the board, Ryan Griver, your Health and Human Services Agency Director. It's my privilege today to introduce you to two new members of the county team and the Health and Human Services team. So on your consent agenda, item number 1, you had the appointment of the county's new public defender, and item number 20, you have the contract with and appointment of the county's new health officer. So I will take them in alphabetical order and talk about public defender first. And so I'd like to introduce Jennifer Mouses, who will come up and say just a few words. But we did an exhaustive recruitment process to talk to all the members of the public defender team, worked with an outside recruiter, got a great list of candidates, and I'm really privileged and pleased that Jennifer, with an illustrious career, has decided to join Nevada County as our next public defender. So I'd like to invite Jennifer up to say a few words.
Good morning, board. I am incredibly honored and pleased to be here. And I have done a lot of research regarding this appointment and what I have ahead of me, and I'm incredibly excited to do that. I think we can make a great agency with the best representation possible. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Welcome.
And next, I imagine many of you know him already, Dr. Evans, who is the former CEO of Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital, currently Chief Medical Officer with Tahoe Forest Hospital, has been appointed our Public Health Officer. So this is a contracted service, so there was a request for a bid that was conducted with our purchasing department. Thank you to Desiree Belding with all the help with that. And Dr. Evans was the winning bid to be our next Public Health Officer. So I'd like to invite him up to say a few words.
Thank you, Director Gruber. Thank you to the Board of Supervisors. I appreciate this opportunity to serve in this new role. I think it's a very important role. I want to thank Sherilyn Cook for her last 4 years of outstanding service in that capacity. There's a lot going on in the world of public health nationally and locally, and I think my years of living in Nevada County for the last 26 years, as well as working in healthcare, will serve that purpose very well. So really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome also. I say welcome back, but you didn't work for the county, but we all know you in your role here with Dignity Health and Tahoe National Forest. So happy to see you with the county now. Thanks. All right. Thank you. Okay, our next item is general public comment. Members of the public shall be allowed to address the Board of Supervisors on items that are not appearing on today's agenda, but are of interest to the public and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Speakers are encouraged but not required to give their name and district of residence, and please direct your comments to the board. You have 3 minutes, so please keep your comments clear and concise. So I'm opening public comment.
Back again, Shane, District 1, flock cameras. Were any of you able to attend Grass Valley PD's seminar last Wednesday? The union made a lovely article about it, front page, back a few pages. Just to summarize it real quick, there were approximately, union reports 50, we counted approximately 60. Individuals in attendance, all of who at the very end was asked for a temperature of the room in regards to flock, asking a number of different questions of Alex in regards to safety, privacy, all of those things. And other than one former council member who was in attendance, the entire room voted that the cameras needed to be covered up immediately. At the end of the meeting, it was decided that in 60 days there would be a disclosure of the ongoing status of the cameras for Grass Valley. What I'm bringing here today, because I highly recommend reading the union article, I'm not going to summarize that anymore, is a memo from Berkeley. Their attorney for the city there. Their attorney is deeply concerned regarding the legal liabilities that flock cameras bring. In particular concern is how flock data continues to end up in federal immigration data sets. They were hesitant to say whether the fault lies with Flock or the agencies using the hardware, and even if it did lay with Flock, whether the corporation had been intentionally or merely negligent. That said, the attorney wrote, it did appear that Flock unilaterally reactivated the national lookup feature in several West Coast jurisdictions after those jurisdictions had shut the feature off, opening those networks to other agencies. Although Berkeley had proposed a $150,000 penalty for each incident of unauthorized data sharing, the attorneys warned that if Flock challenges a claim from Berkeley, the cost of that potential court battle could be cost prohibitive, given that Flock is a multi-billion-dollar corporation and can drag legal cases on far longer than a city the size of Berkeley. The city's attorneys wrote in the memo that they could mount a robust defense if necessary, but warned that the state law in question would punish Berkeley even if it was Flock that shared data improperly. I think you see my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? No? Any phone calls?
No phone calls, Chair.
Okay. I will close public comment. Move on to our first item, department head matters, Code and Cannabis Director Matt Kelly. So a resolution approving the addition of delinquent community development agency assessments onto the 26-27 secured property tax roll. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Chair Swarthout, members of the Board of Supervisors. Matt Kelly, Director of Code and Cannabis Compliance. Here to present an item before you is the placement of our CDA assessments on the secured property tax roll. So topics for the presentation include it's being brought forward to the board for your consideration to play an unpaid community development agency code and cannabis related costs onto the 2026-2027 tax roll. Costs are associated with enforcement action on properties where code violations remain unresolved and owners have not paid outstanding enforcement-related costs. These are not citations. These are staff costs and staff invoices only. Staff have completed the review to ensure the county meets the Auditor Controller's August 10th, 2026 deadline for tax roll submission. So that's what's being brought forward to you today. So a little bit about the legal authority and basis to be able to place the costs on the tax roll, beginning with Nevada County Code Section 1205-220 authorizes the county to recover unpaid enforcement-related costs by placing the item on the secured property tax roll as a special assessment. This mirrors authority granted under state law and ensures consistency with administrative cost and recovery practices that occur statewide within all 58 counties. These are not property liens, but are special assessments, which are collected as part of the annual property tax bill. And special assessments do not encumber the property title, unlike a recorded lien does. Special assessments are fiscal obligations tied to a single tax year and are removed from the tax roll upon their payment. They provide a streamlined cost recovery tool without and do not persist beyond the collection cycle. The process provides an efficient and equitable cost recovery mechanism without requiring judicial action or property lien filings. So a kind of a brief overview of the code violation case process, just for the board's information. So it begins with an ISR or investigative services request. Staff goes out, does an investigation. Once the violations are confirmed, we then send a violation warning letter. The property owner then has 30 days to work with us to bring the property into compliance. If they don't at that point or don't reach out to us at that point, we then move forward with the citation warning letter process and then move into administrative citations. We will then work with the property owner through first level, second level, third level citations and beyond. So we're about 90 days into the process. where then we start issuing staff invoices for our time. This is for my staff to go out and do the investigations, to actually go out and do the work. And it's for the property owner to pay those costs, not for the taxpayers in Nevada County to pay those costs. Once we are able to bring the property into compliance, we of course close the code violation case, and we try to collect citations if they're outstanding, or any staff invoices if they're outstanding. We then move forward with placing those costs on the tax roll and bringing them forward to the board for your consideration once a year if those costs are not paid. We do also, as part of that process, we do send out 30, 60, and 90-day letters or intent to collect letters. Those do give the property owners opportunity to pay those costs. And then from there, we move the invoice into collections. It'll stay in collections for up to a year. We do that with every invoice. The only exception is abatement costs or abatement invoices. Those are brought forward to the board separately. And so we do have one item that's an abatement that's on the list for your consideration today. Those costs were confirmed by a hearing officer. And then we do attempt to collect those costs once the abatement's completed. Those abatement costs do not go through collections. They come to the board separately to be confirmed, and then we try to collect those costs. If they're not collected, then annually we'll bring them forward to the board for your consideration. So that's the only a little bit different process because abatements are done a little bit differently. So just kind of as a reminder of when we start the process, so beginning in March, we will run a report with all of our outstanding invoices and costs. We then send out our final intent to collect letters, giving the property owners one additional opportunity to pay their costs. This, of course, is after the process and then after anything comes out of collections. We put together a board resolution and then bring that forward to you in June. For your consideration, direct charges forms then get created in working with the Treasurer Tax Collector's Office and the Auditor Controller's Office to place the costs on the tax roll in August. So there is appeal rights as well that property owners do have, and so part of the process includes an overall commitment to fairness. Throughout the entire process, our property owners have the ability to appeal a violation warning letter. They have the ability to appeal a citation letter. Final written notification is not issued until it's approved by the board. Property owners are aware of the board meeting today as well, and so there is a right to be heard and to have those costs reconsidered. And so property owners are given ample opportunity through an open and transparent process to bring their properties into compliance, including taking care of these additional costs. So a benefit of placing the assessments on the tax roll provides opportunity for accountability among non-compliant property owners. It recovers staff time and gives ability for those costs to be recovered. It reduces overall reliance on the general fund. It's getting property owners who have code violation cases to pay for those costs and not having the general fund and general taxpayers pay for those costs. It also promotes overall equity in the process, and it really follows a lot of what other counties do, and it really follows the overall process that's been set up with the Treasurer Tax Collector's Office as well. And it does sustain code and cannabis compliance operations and overall service delivery. Code and cannabis compliance is not a revenue generating department. That's not what we do. We are trying to bring properties into compliance and in keeping with Nevada County Code and the general plan, and then try to recover those costs through one of the tools available to us, including placing these costs on the tax roll. So example of the two code violation cases that are on the tax roll list. This is the abatement, and so these are before and after pictures. The abatement started in 2019, and it took a long time for the process to get through. And so this is located within District 4. It was solid waste and operable vehicles. It took a couple of weeks for the property to get cleaned up. These are the pictures above of just what it looked like. And this is what it looked like now after it was cleaned up. So it was a successful abatement, and the property owner was unwilling to come into compliance. So we did abate the property and clean up all the solid waste and inoperable vehicles. The other one that's before you is an illicit cannabis cultivation, and so these are the pictures of that. We did abate the cannabis, and so that was removed, but we did also have solid waste, including the burying of solid waste in a hole in the ground. That was where we were working with the property owner to resolve that. The property actually is for sale, and so it is kind of a success story in being able to clean up the property. We do have some hoop houses that remain, but the new buyer, we understand, is going to be removing those. And so now it's just placing that, the additional $200 that's still outstanding on the tax roll in an attempt to collect that. So this is a successful abatement where the key is to remove the illicit cannabis, which we did, and then working with the previous property owner or now potential buyer to clean up the remaining solid waste is also part of the cannabis case. The cannabis case is still open, and so we are still working with the property owner to try to resolve that, or a potential buyer to resolve that as well. And they're aware of the issues that are still outstanding. And this is also located within District 4. So just a kind of a summary, sorry, Supervisor Hook. So just a summary and recommendation is to approve the resolution that's before you, and placing the additional delinquent CDA assessments on the 2026-2027 tax roll. And with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We also have Ashley Fushi with our Treasurer Tax Collector Office here as well if you have questions for our office also.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions for Matt or comments? Hardy, any questions? Heidi? Or no? Okay. Sue?
Yeah, no questions. I mean, I just know these processes take so long, and I know the work you do ahead of time before we have to get to this point. You guys do an excellent job of working people through this process, and when we get to this, one of them, it's been years since 2019, and actually it was well before that. That's been going on since about 2015, possibly sooner. So I just want to realize that there's a lot of work that goes in this really working, it's always the enforcement side, but it's not. It's a helping people through a process, and sometimes we just get to a place where that doesn't help. So I just appreciate the work you're doing, and thanks for bringing this forward.
Welcome.
Rob?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks for all your work. Last year we had a similar resolution before us, and if I recall, there were dozens of properties on it. Is this the same one? Or I mean, not the same properties, but is this the same process? And if so, is there an obvious reason why there's so many less this year? I think there were dozens last year.
Supervisor Tucker, so that's an excellent question. There were a lot more last year. This is the same it's the same process. Since we're putting, we send out the 30, 60, 90-day letters along with the cost going through collections. That does take a lot longer. So those that we had last year had all gone through that process previously. This time we don't have as many that are for your consideration. Next year we'll have a few more, I believe, that are in that process now. So it'll vary from year to year depending upon where they're at in the process.
Gotcha. And this is both CDA and cannabis, not just cannabis.
It's both code compliance and cannabis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to also commend you for your work on this. And, I don't know if we'll have more conversations about compliance at another time. I've had a lot of cases in my district recently and it's just really difficult for neighbors. And I know you guys do everything you can, but we give people so many chances, and it's really disturbing how much time and effort it takes for just a few recalcitrant folks. And so I'm getting more and more towards let's move faster. Neighbors are really not happy with how long it takes, and it's just those bad few apples. So let's keep moving on those. I appreciate all that you're doing.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So at this time, I will open up for public comment. Is there any public comment on this item in the chambers? No? Any phone calls, Loriana?
No callers, Chair.
No callers. Okay. We'll close public comment. and bring it back to the board for further discussion or a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call?
District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Thank you. So our next item cannot be heard until 10 o'clock. So I think we have the ability to go into closed session now and take care of that, so we don't have to do that at the end of the meeting. So Trevor, if you will read us into closed session.
Thank you, Chair. County Council is requesting closed session to discuss the following existing litigation case, Deborah Wagner v. Nevada County.
Okay. So at this time, I will open up for public comment on the closed door. All right. Seeing none, we will close it, and we will go into closed session, and we will be back out here to do our 10 o'clock hearing. Thank you. All right, welcome back. 10 o'clock. We have a scheduled item under Housing and Community Services Director Tyler Barrington, a resolution approving the application and amending the permanent local housing allocation plan for the permanent local housing allocation program and presentation of the plan amendment.
Chair, we're first going to have council read us out.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not in my script here, so I didn't know. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Closed session was held on the agendized item, and there are no reportable actions.
Great, thank you. Okay, Tyler.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, members of the Board of Supervisors, Tyler Barrington, Director of Housing and Community Services, and I have Angela Masker, Senior Administrative Analyst with me. The item for you today is the proposed permanent local housing allocation plan amendment. Some brief background, the permanent local housing allocation was established in 2017 as a part of the Building Homes and Jobs Act, or SB2. It established a $75 recording fee on certain real estate transaction documents and provides a permanent source of funding for local governments to implement plans to address affordable housing and homelessness. The county applied in 2020 to establish an ongoing permanent local housing allocation, and this required a 5-year plan. And on July 14th of 2020, the board approved Resolution 20-316. This approved a memorandum of understanding with the City of Nevada City, the City of Grass Valley, and Nevada County to collaborate on administration of those funds. And I will note that we did speak to both cities regarding this plan amendment, and those cities will be involved as these funds are allocated through requests for proposals. I'd also note that the town of Truckee, through this process, has elected to administer their own PLHA funding. And then since 2020, approximately $3 million have gone to different projects and allocated throughout the county. And I'll turn it over to Angela to provide a little bit more background on the plan amendment as well as some of those projects.
PLHA can fund a variety of activities under accepted plans. Those activities are shown here as categorized by the California Department of Housing and Community Development under the PLHA guidelines. They focus on expanding affordable housing options and supporting individuals at risk of homelessness. Activity 1 expands rental housing through development, acquisition, or rehab for low and lower income households. Activity 2 expands rental and ownership housing through development, acquisition, or rehab for workforce with incomes up to 150% of the area median income, and that could include loans for accessory dwelling units to homeowners. Activity 3 provides for match dollars for regional housing trust funds, and Activity 4 relates to housing asset funds for redevelopment agencies. Activity 5 expands permanent supportive housing. Activity 6 assists persons at risk of homelessness through rapid rehousing, shelter, transitional housing. Activity 7 provides accessibility modifications for lower income homeowners. Activity 8 is for acquiring and rehabbing foreclosed or vacant homes and apartments. Activity 9 supports down payment assistance. And Activity 10 provides fiscal incentives to cities for affordable housing projects. The current 5-year plan, which was developed and accepted by this board in 2020, is shown in this table. The funding is used for Activity 3, which allows for matching dollars in regional housing trust funds for both rental and owner-occupied housing, and for Activity 6, which supports homelessness services and the Navigation Center. Round 1 planned for all funds to be used in Activity 3 and supported the development of Cashins Field for 51 units of workforce housing in Nevada City in collaboration with Nevada City and the Regional Housing Authority. Rounds 2, 3, and 4 planned for an 80-20% split between Activity 3 and Activity 6. Rounds 1 and 3 have been received and expended according to this plan. The proposed amendment will affect allocations for rounds 4 and 5. The department brings an amendment to this board to satisfy the HCD requirement for an approved plan that's vetted by the public and to meet the requirement for a public hearing for any changes to that plan. At the time of PLHA application in 2020, Housing and Community Services leveraged the PLHA dollars through a match with the state-sponsored Local Housing Trust Fund program and through local funds under Activity under Activity 3 for the eligible activities. Local Housing Trust Fund dollars have since sunset, and no other funds are expected at this time under that program for matching under Activity 3. Therefore, the plan amendment is necessary to select a different activity under which to continue using these PLHA funds to expand housing options. The proposed amendment to the 5-year plan is shown in this table. The plan continues to propose an 80-20 split between housing development and homelessness services and navigation services. The amendment proposes, rather than matching the funds through the Regional Housing Trust Fund in Activity 3, because funds are no longer available for match, we'll use that money instead on Activity 2, which also allows for rental and ownership occupied development, acquisition, or rehab, with a percentage of funds that continues to be used for homelessness and navigation center services. The impact of PLHA to the community can be seen in the projects. PLHA has been instrumental in the development of housing in the county. Round 1, again, supported 51 units of workforce housing in Nevada City. Rounds 2 and 3 supports development of 5 owner-occupied homes through Habitat for Humanity, and will support 31 units of low-income senior housing at Lone Oak 2 in Penn Valley, which recently broke ground. PLHA for these funds for these rounds also supported winter sheltering and rehab to the Commons Resource Center. Funds for rounds 4 and 5 in the amount of roughly $808,000 will continue to support rental and owner-occupied developments for projects chosen through requests for proposals in collaboration with Nevada City and Grass Valley. So with that, I'd like to open public comment on the PLHA 5-year plan amendment and answer any questions, with a recommendation to the board to approve the amended plan and the resolution authorizing the department to submit an application for the amended plan.
Okay. Thank you. So before we open the public comment, I will ask if there's any questions from the board or comments. Hardy, any questions?
Yeah, thank you. Just a couple of questions. The $75 transaction fee, is it based jurisdictionally so that when you say Truckee wants to keep theirs and do their own thing, is that based on the transactions that occur within that jurisdiction? So they just keep tally of that and then they get their share? Is that correct?
Yes, it is jurisdictional. So fees according to jurisdictions are allocated to those jurisdictions.
Okay, and then so there's 4. There's Grass Valley, Nevada City, unincorporated county, and then Truckee.
Yes.
Okay, and then prorationally speaking, I didn't see it in here, what is the approximate ratio of the total pot if you had to break it into 4? Is that a thing? Do you guys see that?
That's a good question. I could look into those numbers for you. I don't have those right off the top of my head.
Okay, and then what compact or instrument allows different jurisdictions to either go into or out of the PLHA with the county? How is that officiated?
So Supervisor Bullock, the board entered into an MOU with the City of Grass Valley and City of Nevada City in 2020.
Okay.
So that's the document that allows the city and the county to collaborate on the administration of these funds.
Okay.
And then Truckee just does their own thing.
Okay, so Grass Valley, Nevada City said, hey, we'd love it if the county could help us navigate this 5-year plan and make plans for the money and help allocate the money in a regional fashion or approach.
Correct, and some of those Habitat for Humanity projects are within the city limits of the City of Grass Valley and providing affordable housing there. Angela mentioned the Cashins Field within Nevada City. And so when the county does an RFP, we will collaborate with those 2 cities to be a part of the scoring committee to help choose which projects will be allocated the funding, and then it'll come to your board for consideration to actually administer the funds.
Okay, and then when it comes to like RHA and RENA numbers and things like that, is PLHA seen as a stakeholder in that process? So they'll put money into that pot, for example, for Cashins Field, they would be just another contributor?
So previously, as Angela mentioned, the PLHA dollars were put into the Nevada County Western Regional Housing Trust Fund. And it was in collaboration with Local Housing Trust Fund dollars, which is no longer an eligible use. And so previously, the county issued an RFP, and then Habitat for Humanity and the Regional Housing Authority or Pacific West Communities submitted proposals to utilize those funds, and those were awarded through resolution of the Board of Supervisors.
Right, okay. And then just in general, what would be the what would the approximate annual allocation of the total PLHA for Western County be, separate from Truckee, the 3 other jurisdictions?
Sure, so allocations can vary according to each year based on home sales and those real estate document fees. So over the course of 5 years, we've been allocated about $3,074,000 for Western County.
Okay, thanks. I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Either. So at this time, I will open up for public comment or public hearing. Is there any public comment in the chambers? Any phone calls?
No callers, Chair.
Okay. Seeing no public comment, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for either further discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. Is there a second?
Second. With comment.
Roll call.
Can I have one comment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, and could you just table the motion? I'm sorry, I did have one more thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, motion in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I could get the supporting detail on the contribution amounts and percentage ratio of the total PLHA for the 4 jurisdictions. Send it to the board would be great.
Sure.
And when does the MOU expire or sunset?
That's a good question also. The 5-year plan, we have 2 allocations left, and PLHA will be developing a new 5-year plan come the next PLHA NOFA, which should be in the next year.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll look into that as well and provide that to the board. And then should a new MOU be required, we'll obviously work with the cities and bring that back before the board prior to the next cycle.
Okay,
I think
thanks.
just in knowing this is an agreement that has worked out really well for the counties and the cities, so I'm hopeful that as the plan moves forward, that the cities will agree to move forward with it, just because we've done projects in both their jurisdictions with these dollars.
Sure.
So I think that's been really fortunate.
Yeah, I think with discussions with Placer County, I think recent discussions make it apparent that regional efforts in this arena are like the way to go.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy with that. So looking forward to seeing what happens next and the possibility of other people joining in.
I think it also gives us an entree to a discussion about, since we're all working on our housing elements right now, to maybe look to see how we can do some collaboration on that as well. So I'm working on that a little bit with Grass Valley and Nevada City.
Mm-hmm. With that, I'll second your motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Yes. District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Okay, our next item, I'm going to turn it over to our county CEO, Allison Lehman.
Thank you, Chair Swarthout and members of the board. I'd like to introduce our CFO, Aaron Mettler, who's going to be presenting the fiscal year 26-27 Nevada County budget for consideration for adoption. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and Supervisors. I'm back. I have not really a slideshow today, but definitely some visual aids to walk us through the many resolutions before you to adopt our budget for 26-27. You can see the list here, but the first item up for discussion is 260482, the proposed budget policies. We have recently developed this policy, which regards delegating authority for budget override. Typically, before we had the new finance system, we would be able to bring items to the board and request budget amendments with each item. In addition, we would bring a quarterly consolidated budget amendment before the board, and we were able to incur charges pending those budget amendments. With the new workday system, the budgetary controls are such that we cannot enter into any contractual obligation or spend any money without budget authorization. And this comes into play when it is on both revenue and expenditures. And so when we receive grant funds, or when we have adjustments to salaries, or we have a late bill, things like that, that are very small in nature, it is imperative that the staff be given some level of override authority to continue the business of the county without needing to come back to the board before that happens. We will, as part of this policy, come back to the board after the fact and request retroactive approval. This policy identifies the specific criteria that would have to be met before a budget override could be completed. And the only people eligible to make that override determination are both the county executive officer and the auditor controller. So you're delegating your authority to those two offices, and part of the requirement would then be at the next available board meeting, we would bring back an action before the full board for recommendation of retroactive approval. So this is a new policy. Again, it is predicated by the change in our systems, which has strengthened our internal controls over transactions. But also we see, especially at year end, when we're trying to reconcile revenues and expenditures and make sure that we have all of the proper expenditures accounted for, there can be some budgetary issues that arise that were not anticipated and would require a budget override authority. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Okay, any questions for Aaron on this first item? Hardy or Heidi?
Does the policy allow or request that the chair of the board be made aware of that that delegation between the CEO and the auditor controller, i.e. would the chair be notified of that occurrence?
It does not contemplate notification ahead of time. It simply follows up at the next available board meeting. So relatively quickly afterwards, all 5 board members would be made aware. Happy to make a change, though, if that would be the direction.
Thanks.
Or go to budget subcommittee versus just the chair, if we wanted to add something. Okay. Heidi?
Yeah, so I'm interested in the amounts, this because I know there have been issues in the past where I feel like we wanted to know what was happening at amounts of 10,000 and above, for example. I see that there's one for anything not more than 1,000 for the budget, and then personnel costs, there's no limit in there. So you talk a little bit about, and then intrafund and interfund. I think more the budget in general, emergencies and personnel, I would like to understand if there's an amount limit there.
Sure. So when we would need a budget amendment for personnel costs, generally payroll posting, is if positions were either filled in different divisions or cost centers or moved through different years. It really is just a mismatch between where the budget is and where the expense incurred versus an expenditure over and above the total authority. So what we're wrestling with is the County Budget Act requirement that the board dictate budget authorization for the fiscal year, and then at the cost center level, which is an accounting term, right, for our financial system, where there's a mismatch, that's where we need the override authority to be delegated. Without it, it just delays the process. It's not something that we would not be able to do, right? We would come before the board.
Right.
It would just be a 4 to 8 week delay depending on the board's schedule. And so for staffing costs in particular, it would be overtime costs that weren't budgeted but needed to happen because they were short-staffed elsewhere, for example, or perhaps a grant-funded change in process occurred.
Okay, but for example, overtime, that could be a large amount. It's not just switching from, it's not just about the different way you're having to move them in a different cost center or.
Right, but it would typically be one pay period, not extended time of time.
Okay, it doesn't say that in here. It doesn't say for one pay period. So my concern is, things that aren't clarified in here might go past, I mean, I do believe we need to be involved if there's significant overtime
Mhm.
or a significant change or a significant amount that is outside of what we approved the budget for, should come to us, and I'm not seeing an amount in here for personnel costs.
Okay, we can absolutely create a cap for that. I'm happy
Okay.
to do that.
That would make me more comfortable. I think same for emergencies. I think absolutely you need the ability to expend funds in an emergency without having to wait for the board to meet.
Mhm.
But again, I think an amount might be helpful, or the ability for the budget subcommittee to get notified ahead of time. I think there's some ahead of time notification that should be required there.
Sure. And I think for emergencies in particular, we do have a standing emergency purchasing policy that we could refer back to that does
Okay.
contain amounts.
Okay.
So I'm happy to tie the two together.
That would be great.
And I'm also happy to amend the policy to include notification to the budget subcommittee.
I think that would
ahead
be
of the
helpful,
override.
too. Yeah. And then on the personnel one, is that something you can do outside of like this approval as well? Is there a separate, I mean, do you need to put that in here, the amounts cap?
I think it would be helpful to put an amount
Mm-hmm.
in there in that particular section, just to reflect that it is intended to be fairly finite
Yeah.
and low.
Okay, so I guess I'm suggesting an amendment to this.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great
See
feedback.
how others feel.
Yeah. Sue, questions, comments? Okay. Yeah. Rob? Okay. So it's possible to add the notification of the budget subcommittee, tying the emergency to our emergency purchasing, and then a cap on the personnel. And then what were we thinking would be a reasonable cap on the personnel? Sure.
My original question got at what you're describing, which is great. My question is it for all override transactions, or is it only for the two instances that you just described? Every time this occurs, would the budget subcommittee be notified, or would it just be for the two instances that you
I
just described?
think it would be for every instance.
Everyone?
Everyone.
Yeah, I would propose that an email come from myself ahead of that override to the budget subcommittee as a notification. And that would make sure that we're tying everything together. And then when the board item comes back, we're able to capture in the staff report that notification occurred and when.
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay. And then a cap on the personnel. What would be a reasonable amount if we wanted to include that?
Off the top of my head, I'm saying $50,000 because that's normally our high, but I recognize that might be too high.
Yeah.
So I prefer to bring that back for recommendation.
Okay.
I'm okay with 50,000, just because I think if you had an emergency that was underway and the CEO already has authorization for 50,000.
So that's a different item. That's emergencies. I'd be okay with 50,000 for emergencies.
We're talking
but not
about
for
the personnel issue.
Yeah.
Just the personnel.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
I will say instances like this typically aren't more than $10,000,
Yeah.
so that might be a more reasonable, acceptable cap.
That was kind of what I was thinking, is maybe a $10,000
Between
cap.
10 and 20
Yeah.
would be okay with me. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? You guys? I think I'm okay with that too. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to take all of these individually, and then we're going to vote on them all individually. So we'll make sure that those get captured when we go to the vote for the 7 different.
Isn't this for the first item only?
This is only for the first item.
So,
yes.
the motion to accept the first item would include the discussed amendments that we just have.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm happy to make that, actually.
Well, actually, we're going to hear all of these first, and then we're going to take the motions after.
Maybe we should do this one separately, since. we
Is there a
have
reason?
10 items.
Is there a reason that we can't vote on each one of them as Aaron presents them?
Yeah, I think that the board could do it either way.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just suggesting for this one, since we're adding.
Well, I want to be consistent, so if we're going to do it for this one, we're going to do it for all of them. So, okay.
Would we need public comment before we vote on it?
That's true. That's probably why we have each one of them. So, is there any public comment on this item? No? Any
No
calls?
callers, Chair.
Okay. All right. No public comment. Close that. And I would entertain a motion on item 70, 26-0482, with the amendments that we just discussed.
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call?
District 1.
Yes.
District
Yes.
5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. That's okay. All right. I actually had that same question too, as if we could, I don't know if it would be quicker to do it this way, but we're going to do it this way. Okay, our next item is 260474, resolution approving the Nevada County appropriations limitations for fiscal year 26-27 in the amount of $109,840,489.
Right, so this is the cap on the amount of tax revenue that the county is allowed to collect and spend each year. It's referred to the GAN limit. It was required by Proposition 4, passed by the voters. And so we calculate this amount each year and present it to the board for approval. That's before you.
Okay, any questions for Aaron on this item? No? Any questions? No? Okay. Is there any public comment on this item? Phone calls?
No callers, Chair.
All right, we'll close public comment, and I would entertain a motion to approve the appropriations limitation.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry.
Yeah, you got Heidi with the motion, Rob with the second.
Thank you for clarification. District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Our next item is 26-0475, resolution adopting the authorized personnel staffing resolution for fiscal year 26-27 and rescinding resolution 25326 as amended effective July 1st, 2026. Aaron.
So this is your typical staffing resolution. It authorizes and identifies total staffing count by department. The total county FTE count for July 1, 2026 is 931.75 full-time equivalents. This document does come back to the board periodically throughout the year as staffing changes are needed.
Okay. Any questions for Aaron on this item? No? All right. Is there any public comment? Seeing none.
No
Phone calls? All right. We'll close public comment. And I would entertain a motion, resolution adopting the authorized personnel staffing.
So moved.
Second.
District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right. Next item, 260476, resolution adopting the authorized personnel salary resolution for fiscal year 26-27 and rescinding resolution 25327 as amended effective the first full pay period of fiscal year 26-27.
So again, this is the salary schedule referred to, restates the salary schedule to include any adjustments contained in previously approved bargaining unit memorandum of understandings, which are effective July 1, 2026. I will note that overall salary increases in the proposed budget are 5% higher than last year's adopted budget. That is predominantly reflective of the cost of living increases contained in each bargaining unit, as well as a slight increase to benefit costs.
Okay. Any questions for Aaron on this one? Anybody? No? All right. Any public comment on this item? No?
No calls.
Okay. We'll close public comment. And I would entertain a motion for 260476, adopting the authorized personnel salary resolution for fiscal year 26-27.
So moved.
Second.
District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. Motion carries. All right. Item 260477, resolution adjusting budget commitments and assignments for fiscal year 25-26.
So this is reflective of what we expect the general fund balance to be at the end of the current fiscal year and where we would propose to place commitments and assignments for those funds. It reflects changes from the adopted budget until now for the current fiscal year.
Okay. Any questions on this one? Anybody? No? Okay. Any public comment? Well, seeing none, we'll close public comment. And I would entertain a motion on this item.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right. Our next item, 260478, resolution adopting final budget commitments and assignments for fiscal year 26-27.
So this is the same or similar chart with future fiscal year estimates on where we think the fund balance of the general fund commitments and assignments will be at the end of next fiscal year.
Okay. Any questions on this item? No? Any public comment? No? Okay. I would entertain a motion to adopt the final budget commitments and assignments for fiscal year 26-27.
So moved. Second.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right. Resolution 260479, resolution confirming allocation of Prop 172 public safety revenues for fiscal year 26-27.
So each year, the board authorizes how we want to allocate out our Proposition 172 monies for public safety services during the fiscal year. The chart included in the resolution has not changed from prior fiscal years in terms of the percentages of funds allocated. So that is up for discussion.
Okay. Any questions on Prop 172? No? Any public comment? No? All right, seeing none, I would entertain a motion for confirming resolution allocation of Prop 172 public safety revenues for fiscal year 26-27.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. Okay, and our final resolution, 260480, resolution adopting the Nevada County fiscal year 26-27 budget totaling $466,532,095.
This is the big one, your final adoption of the proposed budget. Happy to answer any questions that may have come up since last week. Your proposed budget is inclusive of the fee schedule that was adopted last week, the appropriations limit you just adopted, the staffing and salary schedules you just adopted, as well as general fund balance. So this culminates all previous actions into one proposed document.
Okay, great. Any questions for Aaron on the final budget?
I just had thanks for all your work on this, and I appreciated the additional transparency this year. On the staffing, we went down by 0.1, right? I don't know how you did that, but so in my mind, I know some of the issues I had last year, the unfunded pension liability, and I was happy to see the policy that I assume we'll be seeing as we go further and implement that. The staffing last year, I think we went up by 30, and I know there's individual circumstances each year. I'm glad to see the trend of both those. The unfunded pension liability is down, the employees, and then of course the overall budget went up, continued to trend up, but I know this year we've got a lot of capital improvements that are baked into that, some of the facilities, the construction. So yeah, I appreciate the transparency, the work on that. I still think going forward, particularly into the near future, a lot of this stuff, particularly with HHS and the state level and the federal, there's going to be, I don't want to call it reckoning, but I think we're going to definitely be talking more about it going forward. But otherwise, I appreciate all your work on this, and I'm supportive of it.
Thank you.
Sue, comments? No, good. Thank you. This has been
I think this has been as transparent as we've ever done it. I think the public had great opportunities to come and have questions answered, and your coffee chats, whether they were big or not, they were great. I think that people came and asked questions, and the ones that didn't. And again, I think we've made, this was a very interesting budget season. And I think you guys really pulled together, and everyone that did the work to make this happen and make it budget, because everybody had to get a little tight this year. So just really appreciate all the work. So thank you.
Heidi? items. Hardy?
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. And thank you, Chair Swarthout, for the modified process. I think it went well, and appreciate you guys pivoting and doing it differently for the first time in a while. Yeah, job well done. I like the transparency, and I do believe that HR1 is going to have some effects that we're going to see in next year's budget, so maybe even tighter belt next year. But for now, I feel confident about the balanced budget. Appreciate everybody's insight, and definitely appreciate the stakeholders giving us their feedback. I know many of us got, in advance of the budget process, got lots of insight from people that we work with and take care of out in the community. So thanks for people giving insight. I know a lot of people aren't here today, but I think many people understand what's going on here, and that's due in part to your reaching out to everybody and having multiple processes for people to give feedback. I did want to mention one thing, that our audit findings were essentially glowing and perfect this year, which I'd just like to acknowledge staff, because I failed to do so before and thinking about other things, but thanks to the CEO's office and Auditor Controller and others who made that possible. This is the first year, essentially speaking, that we've had just basically perfect audit findings. So thank you.
Yeah. So I will echo all the thank yous from my colleagues, and also just really appreciate how much work went into this year. I think that the transparency process does create more work for staff, and I really appreciate you guys indulging us in taking care of all of that this year. And it just gives me great comfort to know that as we move through this and things change, you guys are watching this so closely, so we're not going to be getting any surprises. You really keep us apprised of what's going on at the state and federal level and how that affects us. And I think we are definitely going to have to be watching and potentially making some adjustments as we move forward to see how the state and federal budgets are going to affect our counties. But seeing so much stuff in the news these days with local municipalities, counties, and cities struggling and not being able to balance their budgets, I'm really proud of Nevada County and the work of all of you, your staff, Aaron, as well as the departments and their finance people who've really come together and given us a balanced budget. And I know that there was probably some pain out there this year, but at least we got ahead of it and we're working out the situation. So thank you all for your hard work. I appreciate it. They're sitting behind you, kind of spread out there.
Yeah, I will say that the new process this year challenged us to be more collaborative than we've ever been, which is a great thing. And having us more out in the public and presenting to the board more frequently and earlier really did strengthen our commitment to where we're spending the funds and why we're spending the funds the way we are. And so I think that challenged staff in a great way, and definitely could not be in front of you today with a proposed balanced budget without the strong fiscal talent that you have here at Nevada County.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve the budget.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. Motion carries. I did. Yeah.
Where's the ice cream?
We have one more to approve.
Yes.
Then ice cream?
Yeah. All right. At this time, we are going to recess as the Board of Supervisors and convene as the Nevada County Sanitation District. Our first item is the consent calendar for the Sanitation District. These items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. Oh, you're all leaving? Okay, David stayed. That's, okay. All right. The Board of Directors will act upon them at one time without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar for discussion. All right. Is there anything that we would like to remove from consent? No? Anybody in the public? All right. So I will entertain, public comment on the consent. Is there any public comment on the consent? No? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that. And I will call for a motion to approve the consent calendar for the Sanitation District.
So moved.
Second.
District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right, motion carries. All right, our next item is a resolution adopting fiscal year 26-27 sanitation district number 1, risk management reserve, shared operation maintenance, capital acquisition, and improvement budgets for Lake Wildwood, Lake of the Pines, North San Juan, Gold Creek, Penn Valley, Mountain Lake Estates, Cascade Shores, Eden Ranch, Higgins Village, Valley Oak Court, totaling $12,088,912. Aaron? It says.
Happy to answer any questions that you
Okay.
might have on sanitation district budget.
All right, any questions for Aaron on this? No? All right. I will open up for public comment. Is there any public comment on this? Yeah, I know, you have a lot. All right, seeing no public comment, we'll close the public comment. And if there's no further discussion from the board, I would call for a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
District 1.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes. All right, our final action on this would be general public comment for the sanitation district. Is there any general public comment? See, now we even lost David. Oh, Tricia's back there. Yeah, all right. Okay. Seeing none, I will close public comment, and we are going to adjourn as the Nevada County Sanitation District and reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. We have actually done our closed session, so that is the end of our agendized items. I would like to take the opportunity if my colleagues would like to make announcements before we adjourn the meeting. If anybody's ready. Anybody? Sue. Okay, Sue.
I'm not sure where we left off, so I just made a list of some of the things we've attended or done. And had a great meeting with the RCD leading the charge for Nevada County Plan for Agriculture. So I think that's heading a forward motion. I'm looking forward to see where that study comes out. We did the Memorial Day celebration. It was lovely. It was a beautiful day. Had a great turnout out there. It was lovely to speak. RCRC, Mariposa, we just were at Yosemite for the meeting of the chair. Really a great meeting, beautiful area. I'd never been there. I've lived here all my life. I've never been to Yosemite. But it was great conversations. We had a couple of closed session items, so I can't really share about that, but there's a lot going on, a lot of bills going through. RCRC's tried to stay really on top of things that are important. HR1 is a key. So a lot of conversations at the Capitol going on about that. And we had our first groundbreaking for our last mile projects in Glenn County, which was very exciting. So things are moving on with our project there. That's a big project to bring that kind of service to rural communities. And so really excited to see the work going on with that. We had our Cannabis Ad Hoc Committee meeting, working on where we're going to keep moving with our dispensary items, and that's about to come to fruition, and the applications are going out. I went to the IGS all-staff meeting. That was fantastic. It's wonderful to see the people that actually make this place function and how they work together and how they build that relationship through those meetings. Really felt honored to actually get invited there and get to meet people that I don't see that do the daily work here. And it's nice to be able to comment on that because we do have a really special county. I know I say that a lot, but we all get to work with people all up and down this state, and it makes me proud to say how much work we get done and what we accomplish here and the creativity that comes out of this county. We won awards up and down with RCRC and CSAC, and it just shows that there's this integrity of work here that's really, really special for a small rural county. I did my SSV EMS meeting. I'm the chair, so we have agenda review, and then we had a regular meeting, and there's some challenges. There's a lot of challenges with ambulance services and things in our community. We're doing a great job in Nevada County. New contracts coming up. I think those are important things we continue to look at. They want to, part of that was some discussions of rate increases, because our ambulance services are looking at what the challenges are going to be, what you get paid for. for actually what you do for your services. So there's been some interesting conversations on that. I did Citizens Academy graduation. That was a lot of fun. The chair, Lisa, and Allison and I went, and it was really a hoot to sit and just get to meet the folks that were in it. And I think really to see how much they appreciated what they got out of it. It gave them a whole new insight to the county. And when you're putting that kind of information out to the public, and then they can go out and share that, I think that's really helpful. And it shows because that class is filling up. I mean, there's a waiting list practically to be on it. So really impressed with the people that were on it. Good, great questions. My little town of Rough and Ready just did secession days, and I went and I got to judge a chili cook-off. But more than that, it's about a community that comes together. And I would say that during losing a fire department almost, and I can never appreciate the work that the county and the fire departments did on that, it brought a community back together. And this, they used to have this before COVID, and so it really kind of fell apart. The community kind of fell apart. It was very interesting. But to watch them come together and put on a little event like this, and it was packed. It was a fun day. The weather was perfect. They had music. They had 9 different people had chili. So it just was a fun day, and it was just fun to see community come together. And in that, Lisa and I also attended our spaghetti dinner and got to honor our chief as he leaves. Chief Wagner's retiring. And again, a full house of a community of Rough and Ready that really, really has come together and appreciates what the county did as well as what they did as a community. So I think those are important. We had a Resiliency Project Governing Board meeting. That's moving along. I'll look forward to our next open public meeting. I think we've got some good stuff moving along. I attended the Penn Valley Fire meetings. I was on the audit committee. We met. I'm happy to say our audit is very clean for the county. That says a lot about what we're doing. Capital projects, things that are on the move, and as you can see right outside, we have a big project underway with our behavioral health unit that's going, and that just is that's a big project. That doesn't count all the little things that they're working on a daily basis. LAFCO, we have our budget. We had our regular meeting. I'm on the budget subcommittee. We just had a special meeting about just some issues with our budget and how we move forward with our finances. And in our regular meeting, I think the approval for the consolidation of Overhill and Consolidated was agreed on, and now that process is in its 30-day period for people to protest. And so that affects the Cedar Ridge folks. We did the Youth Commission reunion. That was really exciting. It's so fun to see kids that are so engaged with local government and how we move through the processes. And so it was fun to see some of the kids that came back and what they're doing. And anyway, and look forward to working with the new group that's going to be here. I had a great meeting with our new CHP commander, Matt Dubendorf. Really look forward to working with him. CHP, and I hope you all realize and notice there's a lot of them in town now. They are working it, I tell you, and so they are fully staffed. And although I will say I need to work on a little more, the river crossings were outrageous this weekend. The traffic was terrible. And on that note, I just want to bring up that our shuttle is going to start. We have a pilot program that's going to shuttle people from here to the 49 bridge, and I really encourage people to use that because the parking is challenging, and there'll be a time where we're going to have to actually, we won't. The CHP will be down there, and they will be towing cars that are in improper places to park, and they will be ticketing. Way back when, I went to the All Hands CAL FIRE event. Very impressive. It was wonderful to watch those folks get their awards for the year, and then followed that up with the Bear River FFA banquet, which they were both so amazing. You wouldn't know one was put on with students and one with adults. 2 outstanding projects for the day, and it was fun. Rob was there, but we finally gave our awards to the national winning parliamentary procedure team. And it was really exciting to see what those kids are doing. They have a new state officer, a regional officer, a sectional officer. That's a lot for a small school. And it just tells you the caliber of kids that are here working and doing stuff. We did the Peace Officers Memorial here, which was great. Armed Forces Day, I can't thank enough of the county and the work that went into put it on. There was a lot of people there this year. And it's a challenge. Our airport is, it's got to work and have an everyday life that happens there, right? I don't know that people even realize that, but it was great for people to come out, and we'll see where that leads. It was really an awesome opportunity to recognize our folks that serve us every day. We had the Pin Valley Rodeo, which is the biggest event of Pin Valley of the year, sold out both days. We couldn't ask for better weather for Armed Forces Day and Pin Valley Rodeo. They were just packed with people. We had our CDA mid-year update, which is always great for me. Kind of lets us know where we're at in my district, and I appreciate the time that goes in that. And then, of course, we had transit and NCT, and I'm sure I left some out. And in between all that, I met with many constituents on issues, and so that's my list. I'm sticking to it. Oh, and I'm still fighting AT&T.
Yes, thank you for that.
I just am so frustrated with that. I'm just going to say that. So there was an article in Ubinet and KNCO, and I still encourage people to send in your complaints to the CPUC. And even though the federal comment period has ended, feel free to send them your opinions. And I want to thank that. 200 people from that article sent in their complaints on that day, and I think that helpful. It just really tells you how many people need our landlines. I had 4 emails this morning of people that didn't get their complaint in that are just in need of this, and I don't think AT&T, I understand where we are, but rural is just different, and I don't care. We paid for them to be here for years. That was a privilege they took, and they held on to it. We couldn't do some projects because they owned the area. And it's their job to service us for the time being. So I'm going to stick to that. It's on my, just can't let it go. I don't know.
Thanks.
But, so there's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Should let me go first.
Rob? She's been busy. Heidi?
I can keep it short and just, kudos to Sue for staying on that AT. I'm still getting complaints as well, so I'm with you on that, and maybe let's keep collaborating if we hear of something that we can be doing advocacy-wise. I don't have as much, but a number of events I've attended to. I'll just mention them. Also, I was at Armed Forces Day. I was at the first ever Pride Parade, which was fabulous. I went last night to the Goodbye for Eliza Tudor. I think our arts community is in really great shape. She's done a whole lot to help, and I think there are great people lined up to continue. So it was nice to participate in that. I stayed involved with the NACO Justice Committee. Not a lot to report out on that, just a lot of reports coming in on what's happening around the country and the funding challenges everyone's having, including them. And we have our next NACO meeting coming up next month that I'll be attending and re-engaging to make sure that the rural issues and our issues are well represented. Also stayed on top as best I can with the CSAC and NACO and our lobbyists on the budget issues, but there's just been a whole lot, really hard to track all that. So I appreciate staff, our analysts who are doing all that tracking and keeping up and make sure we're getting letters, advocacy letters in, and support and non-support letters in on those pieces of legislation that would affect us specifically or particularly. So that continues to be a big part of our work. I did attend our Sierra Nevada, the NSC meeting where they continue to meet to, I'm not part of that committee, but they consult with the rest of us who are not part of that committee. They're giving out lots of grants on conservation, and we're always in that mix. Nevada County is always in that mix, so it's always good to make sure we're represented there. I did also get a pre-briefing on the agriculture plan, which I'm super excited about. I think that's going to benefit us all greatly. And then the California Wildfire and Forest Resilience Task Force. I've been staying on top of that. I haven't been able to listen in on all their meetings, but their report is out. I have not read it yet, but I'm going to go take a look at that and see what's in there, and I can report back out maybe at another announcement or forward it to you guys. It's going to be extensive, but it'd be interesting to see if they're continuing to advocate for the kind of things we need here to deal with our wildfire risk. And then finally, I have had a number of tricky code cases that have come to my attention, and working with Tricia on that and Matt on that and doing everything we can. But it is frustrating, some of the cases that just take forever and have become very difficult, take a lot of staff time. So hoping we can keep moving on those. And that's about it for me.
Okay. Heidi, do you have anything on insurance?
I haven't, no, I can update you guys on insurance actually next time. I know there's a lot in flux now with the election. So, and I know that Hadwick is having a public meeting.
She's having a town hall meeting
A town hall meeting on that. Yeah. Actually, so I'd encourage people to attend that.
It's the same time as my town
Yeah,
hall,
I'm sorry, it is. It's today, I think at 5 or 5:30. It's a Zoom call that there's a link on her website that people can sign up for.
Right. Yeah. Well, Heidi, you've been so on that insurance thing. I always appreciate that work. So if we could, if
you.
you've got any updates for us, I know people are just so
I'll
frustrated.
be digging back into that now that I'm freer. Thank you.
No, thanks for that.
Hardy.
Yeah, thanks. Everybody's been busy. We had the first State of the Region meeting that Allison and I attended up in Truckee. A bunch of different jurisdictions, I think maybe 12, 14, at least. It was 2 hours worth of people standing up there on the stage talking. And then the county was last, so by that time, a lot of people were gone by the time I jumped up there. But I tried to represent us well up there and talked a little bit about the county as a whole, which I always try and do in East County circles to let people understand that it's not just about East County, it's about Nevada County, which is a regional sphere of influence that we work toward. And then did the ERC tour, which I thought was really awesome. I stayed for the whole time, and the last one was about aviation, which was fun because we talked all about airplanes that I like.
They knew you very well when I was talking to them.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah, I'd done a lot of 30 years ago. I learned to fly there. And then we are getting our East County Visioning project together, which is fairly modest, but it's got a couple components, some stakeholder meetings, some public meetings, and some analytics and synthesizing what people want for East County. So I'm excited to kick that off. The county has a fairly substantial footprint on the Levon Center there. But we don't have a lot of other things in East County, so it's going to be fun to see what people think they may want from the county as a regional partner. That's going to start here pretty quick. I'm meeting with the sheriff this week. We've had ongoing conversations about the sheriff and law enforcement footprint up there. And if you haven't heard, the sheriff's office added one deputy to our area, which is great. And I actually saw both of them out at 2 different events that I was at making the rounds, so that was great. Jesse Wilson was my guest at Rotary, as well as Armando Salud Ambriz, our registrar of voters, and just trying to introduce people to their elected officials in East County. It's really nice to see them visit that area and talk about what they're doing. And I'll make this disclosure when we talk about it, but I went out and looked at the Cedar Ridge neighborhood, the Hidden Grove project, as well as the surrounding neighborhood. We had our economic development ad hoc that Chair Swarthout and I are on, which a lot of good data coming forward on that. Rob and I are on the airport ad hoc that we've had several meetings on. And then we had our Truckee Tahoe Homeless Advisory Commission. It goes by a different name, but we had our THAC meeting in Truckee, where it's the public version of all the different stakeholders coming together. Those meetings can be kind of tough, and this one was really good. We are looking at the success metrics of the navigation center, which is great. The calls for service are going down, so the amount of support that the police department and sheriff's department have to put into managing the neighborhood has dropped off significantly. We had one of the coolest parts that was relayed to me is we had a cell phone provider come in and hook people up with cell phones. And so like 15 people got cell phones and are now connected, which means they can get a number where prospective employers can call them back, right? So if you get a job, you have to have a number. Gave like 28 haircuts, got people clothes. I mean, just the stories of success coming out of that navigation center are absolutely so heartening. When I have a bad day, I go over there and talk to people, and it makes me super happy. I really like what's going on over there, and I have to thank our behavioral health and our Health and Human Service staff, and Jasmine and Ryan and everybody that puts it together, but also our vendor, VOA, Volunteers of America, is the most amazing group of people that are just in it for the right reasons. So we did a video series too. Cindy Basso and I shot some videos. We're going to try and get those up on the social media to talk about what's going on over there because it's so cool. I just want to thank the board for their support. You're doing amazing things in that area of the county. I did the RCD, the SALC grant. I learned a lot from Brianna talking to her about what she wants to see out of that plan, what she thinks we can work together on. So that's cool. I'm still, Supervisor Swarthout and I also went to the Emergency Regional Managers meeting. I think that's the name of it, with Alex Kiebeltol, where we talked to all the emergency managers and kind of figure out how all those things unfold and what role the county plays. I'm still involved in public lands at NACO, and I sponsored another resolution to essentially build once policy. So when federal dollars are used for flat work like a road, 49 would be a great example. You could simultaneously put in recreational infrastructure like pullouts, restroom facilities, and parking areas so that you don't have a big stretch of asphalt with no way to get the cars off. In my neighborhood, people park on the side of the road and they go hiking or they go to the, like Rollins is a great example. You have all those cars right there at the dam. It just allows us to have more flexibility in the use of those funds to create areas for people to actually use the areas alongside the roads. So I'm going to take that to the NACO annual conference and see if I can get, I think Transportation Committee has cross-claimed it. Phil Chang out of Oregon is going to pick it up. So I think we're making headway there. And thanks to staff, Lisa Lane and Chris have been super supportive in helping me get all that. There's a lot of stuff in the background, so thanks for doing that. This week, the Truckee Tahoe Air Show is back. It didn't happen for a while, so it's going to be a full air show. So come on up to Truckee if you want to walk around in the hot sun and wind, get out there and bring a sun hat. But it's really going to be fun. It's going to be a big event. It's this Saturday. Yeah, I've been talking to some of the performers that are bringing in classic aircraft. It's going to be really cool. I met with Assembly Member Hadwick to talk to her about the impacts of HR 1. It was a fairly brief meeting, but it was nice to connect with her. And she has district days coming up in the fall, so I think she's going to come to Nevada County and Eastern County, and I invited her to take a tour of the NAV Center, try and show her some stuff that the Board of Supervisors have done, and get her, connected. And so I wanted to make sure she feels welcome here. Had the Juvenile Justice Coordination meeting, which is the JJCP is the money that is set aside for the fact that we don't have a juvenile detention center. So that money is spent on casework to support juveniles who may be incarcerated or justice involved. And I invited our youth commission to come to that meeting. So a bunch of youth commissioners came in, and the entire JJCP meeting was like Jeff talking, or Chief Goldman talking for a little bit, and then the commissioners talking for like 45 minutes about what they think. And it was so rad because the whole meeting was focused on what the kids think should happen to help other justice-involved youth. And I just was such an awesome application of the Youth Commission with, something that's mandated for us to handle. So it was very touching, and I thought it came out great, and I'm going to keep inviting them to every meeting. And I would encourage anybody, if you have a meeting, just invite some youth commissioners, and they show up, and it's really nice. And then the Kid Zone's got their groundbreaking coming up in Truckee. Let's see what else we have here. I think that's about it. Roadside vendors. We have some roadside vendor challenges. I've been taking great pictures of people selling stuffed animals and snow cones on the side of the road in Truckee.
Tamales and fruit are down here.
Okay. And we're going to get there. We're working close. We're working on it. That's it from me. Thank you.
All right.
Great. Everybody's been really busy. I'll go through mine really quickly. So, because many of us attended the same things. So I did attend the CAL FIRE All Hands meeting. They do a video. They did a video at the beginning of that. It's lengthy, but if we ever have the opportunity to show that in the board chambers, it's done very well. It's a great recruitment for young people wanting to come to work for CAL FIRE. I also attended the IGS All Hands up at Scotts Flat last week, and I had never been up to that particular place, and I was kind of like cursing Craig for saying, why are they having this up here? But the minute you drive into it and you see the lake, it's really a beautiful sight, and I thought they did a great job setting it up and really educating us is what they do, and then as well as getting to know each other. I was very impressed. I continue to meet with the City of Grass Valley and the mayor just on mutual issues. I did attend the flock camera meeting last week in Grass Valley. It was interesting. I would say that there's a lack of understanding of the process of how a city council or how a board of supervisors can make changes. People just can't come in and say, we demand that you do this and have it done instantly. There's a whole process. The city is working through the process. They did actually a great facilitated meeting with Lori Burkhart Frank, and she did a really good job considering that the crowd was pretty hostile. And I did ask the sheriff after our last meeting to prepare a presentation on flock cameras, so that'll be coming to us probably sometime in August. I attended the Californian for the Arts. They had their board meeting here at the library last month, and I attended it and just did a little welcome. And the arts community, Nevada County is on the radar screen of the arts community at the state level because of our Arts Council and because of the work that Eliza Tudor has done. And I did attend her going away party yesterday. She's still here for a couple more months. And I believe that the Arts Council is in really good hands. They have a great board of directors, and they're in a search for a new executive director. I attended Armed Forces Day, a great crowd. It really was a great day. Lots of people. I thought they did a really nice job organizing it this year. I did my CDA check-in to find out all the projects that are happening in District 3. I attended the Bright Futures for Youth. They graduate kids every year who've successfully gone through their programs. They launched 6 amazing young women this year through the Friendship Club that are graduating, moving on to jobs or to college. Really impressive group this year. I attended the LAFCO meeting. I did the Memorial Day celebration out at Memorial Park. I also attended the Citizens Academy graduation, and it was great to hear the questions. My husband happened to be in the class this year, so I actually got a good behind-the-scenes critique of the program as well as of Jeff getting it. But I think his main comment was, and I hear this from everybody who's gone through it, is I can't believe how much the county does. And he felt like at some points with the departments that were there, they were rushed because they had so much information to share. So there was a few things that he was interested in getting more information. And I think a lot of the people who do that, they want to know more about what we do. So I think the next one, we do it once a year, right? Yeah. And there is a waiting list. The coffee budget chats were great. Only thing is that Erin didn't tell me that the stern-looking guy at the end of the table was her dad. I sat there the whole 2 hours going, why is that guy here? And he looks mad. He looks like, maybe we're doing something bad, and he never said a word. And then I found out that it was your dad. So thank him for coming. And next year, ask some questions. I attended the Area 4 on Aging meeting last week, and they are in the search for a new executive director. Pam Miller has retired after being there for close to 20 years. So there's a full-on recruitment that's going on right now. And I'm working as part of the subcommittee on that, so we should have a new person in place by October 1st. And it is also, June is adult older abuse recognition month, and so our Department of or APS has some information if anybody's interested. I did see a thing on the news this morning at a state level that they're acknowledging it. I attended the ERC tour, and it was really good this year. There was some really great businesses. I'm always amazed when I do that event to see how many cool things we have going on in this community from an economic development standpoint. Last week, Hospitality House opened their new project over on South Auburn Street next to the Coach and Four Motel. It's 12 individual units that are completely full right now. This is a piece of property that they acquired several months ago, and they continue to find solutions to housing people in the community, and I'm really proud of the work that they've done. Kind of my final note is on PG&E. District 3 has had numerous, I have a new appreciation for District 4 because usually it's District 4 that has all the unexplained power outages. We had, I believe, 7 power outages or 6 power in 8 days where the power went off at the most inopportune times. It blacked out all of downtown Grass Valley one night. There was greater areas of the community. And then it continued to happen and they couldn't figure it out. They finally did. There was a glitch in their system. A big thank you to Brandon Sanders, our governmental affairs rep. He helped us out this over the weekend. There was 2 sold-out shows at the Center for the Arts, and the week before they had a sold-out show, and they had to send everybody home midway in between. So it's very hard on our businesses when the restaurants and our facilities like this lose power. If there are people who have suffered financial losses through that, PG&E does have a claim process that you can go on their website, and I would encourage anybody who did suffer from economic losses over these last. It's hard when it goes out 4 nights in a row during the middle of dinner service, and you have to send everybody home, and it's hot, and yeah. So, but like I said, I really appreciate PG&E's help with at least getting the Center for the Arts a generator so that if the power did go out during their shows, they would have had the ability to carry on. And I know a lot of the businesses in downtown are currently looking on how they can put generators in. It seemed to me from the meeting that Hardy and I attended with OES that there's going to be a lot of PSPSs this summer. That just was my impression. They had them early. They just started. Other counties had them last week, and I think that we are going to be subject to that, so people need to be prepared. And just a couple future things. Tomorrow, come meet Vera, the dog from Sammy's that we're trying to adopt out. She's really cute. Her picture's on my screen here. We've had 100% success so far. 80%, okay, 80% success so far with our little adoption events that we're doing here. It's at 11:30 to 12:30 tomorrow in front of the Rood Center. And then our next meeting, a Board of Supervisors meeting, is July 14th in the town of Truckee. So we're excited to go up there and spend the day. And if no one else has anything else with that, we are adjourned. 3 minutes early from my schedule. Thank you.